Traders, investors, what is going on? We are back. We have a crazy week ahead of us in the biotech sector. Well, I guess it's just mainly cancer bio. It's not really biotech, but yes. So before we get into that, I guess we'll get into the obvious plays. I mean, we're definitely going to be looking at Mara. Mara's in a really good place right now, and so is Bitcoin. We're at a very interesting point here. So here's our point of control in the volume. We're actually building a nice little shelf here that we're walking up. You know, we've bounced off this resistance a number of times, broke through it over the weekend, tested this upper channel in here and got rejected. But the interesting thing is, you know, it wicked up and it's holding right here on this orange line, and this is the line of confluence. And confluence basically is a decision. It's a decision to do something, to go higher or lower, generally speaking, right? So you see right here these 4-hour candles, they've been wicked up on both sides. This is where the decision was made. Are we going higher? Are we going lower? You know, and you see we clearly we're going higher, right? So we come down, and then you start to see these giant candles forming where there's all this wicking going on. It's almost even wicking on either side, and that's where the buyers and sellers are basically meeting in the middle and deciding what's going to happen next. You know, and so obviously as we know we came down. We've been rejected as we've tested this point a number of times, so it's really interesting to see that now that we've broken out, you know, above this resistance here, that it's actually catching and hanging out in this region. So that is super duper bullish. I am so pumped for next week. Not to mention we have the Coinbase IPO, so there's going to be a lot of momentum for Bitcoin. I think that could influence it. I mean, you see how the S&P 500 and, you know, our futures influence Bitcoin. So it might drive it a little bit, but I know for sure what it's going to drive is the Bitcoin ticker. So Mara, Riot, stuff like that. I mean, I haven't even really, you know, SOS people like, but that's not my thing. I'm not crazy about the company, and it doesn't really have a lot of strength. Honestly, remembered this while I was editing. So they're going to get a delivery of miners on the 15th, roughly. So I think it could be a play to load them up. I guarantee you they'll move at least a point on this news. Probably will sell off, but that's definitely a play. NCTY used to be a favorite of mine, but it absolutely has just been tanking since they had that offering the other day. So I haven't really touched that. I've just been in Mara. That's my baby right now. Currently holding 200 shares. Not on here. Yeah, not on here. On Webull. And yeah, so I'm excited for more on Bitcoin plays. The other obvious one, you know, go ahead and mention it. Pltr. As everyone knows, I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, there you go. So Wednesday, they're going to have their multi-click or two-click, whatever it's called, the demo. And I think that this could actually cause a reversal. I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this thing. We know it's got Wall Street Bet sympathy. You know, they're definitely not the most coordinated bunch. You'd think that they would pile on when there's already going to be momentum. Like, this would be a perfect time to pile on. And I think you could really squeeze this thing if you kind of timed it right, but they're not the most organized bunch. You know, so first hurdle is going to be breaking 2450. I mean, we're definitely starting our pre-run to the event now. Holding the 9 SMA on the 1 hour for 2 days now, that's super bullish. But isn't super bullish is this. We'll have to see how futures open. I was contemplating waiting until they open to do this video, but probably gonna get this done before these things open back up. But this has just been crazy. You know, we talked about in the last video how this square here is a huge gap in the volume. Fine, I'll show you again. Gappery. You know, so we're building some support in here, obviously, but you know, this gap will get filled. It has to. I mean, even there, and yeah, like even in here, I mean, it's not great. So just keep an eye on futures, because if they start to give out, there's not many great catch points. You know, so we could see some knife edges here in the future. But I think we're starting to break out into a very bullish direction. You know, just definitely keep an eye on it. As always, I think until we can just start getting some more, normal movements, we're going to have some volatility. This thing needs to find its direction, and it certainly isn't straight up like it's been going. We need some chop action, so we'll see what happens. But let's dig into the stuff to look at, man. So we have a week of biotech goodness. GLSI is our first one. You always got to look out for sympathy plays. So the sympathies on this are going to be PBLA, IMPP, SLS, CRIS. I mean, that's CJIX, so I don't know. You can keep an eye on that. But these three, especially SLS, likes to run when GLSI does. And they had huge news over the weekend. So the news they got over the weekend is this: Greenwich Life Sciences presents an immune response in phase 2B of their trial. Published today, blah blah blah, showing peak immunity after 6 months of GP2 treatment, resulting in 100% disease-free survival of reoccurring breast cancer. Whew. I'll link this in the down there if you want to check it out. Absolutely incredible. So we saw a crazy move over the last couple of days, just kind of running to this news. So be careful. It could be a sell the news event, but this thing, traders love this. So this could get really volatile again on Monday. I'm expecting it at the very least for it to gap up and be kind of crazy in pre-market, but we'll see if it holds. So the next one is going to be ears. This is on Tuesday though. Keep an eye on eyes off ears too, as a sympathy. Anyways, on Tuesday they're going to be giving a preclinical update on one of their drugs that is being evaluated to protect against airborne viruses and allergens. Keep in mind, once again, this thing is already absolutely flying, so this is definitely a high risk, high reward kind of trade. So make sure you're kind of playing accordingly here. Obviously, we still have another day to run to this event. So I think tomorrow it keeps moving too. I think it's going to run to Tuesday. And then it might have another leg. It might sell the news. But I definitely think that we could see ears continue to run tomorrow. If ears is moving, keep an eye on eyes, right? Like, that's crazy. That's a massive pop there. But yeah, they definitely move together. Keep your ears and eyes on ears and eyes. So FBIO is also on high watch. So I'd be leaning more towards the FBIO than ATXI, but they're working together to release this intravenous tramadol treatment for moderate to severe pain, and the FDA is going to be ruling on the new drug / treatment for that on Monday. Now keep in mind, this thing has been running to that event already. And it's funny because I've been in this situation before. I actually missed the pre-run on FBIO, was thinking about rushing into it late, didn't end up taking a position, it nuked. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Here it is. I think I did have a small position because I had that minus 1%. I must have had like a really tight stop at open or something like that. I have no idea. But I do remember being happy I didn't load it because this thing nuked. I didn't catch the bottom. I think I got filled somewhere in like the 220 something. Anyways, I caught the bottom in here somewhere, ran it up, and I mean from 211 to 347 is a 40% run. I have 25% on my sticky note here, so I managed to get a little bit. Don't exactly remember where I got out, but I just played this overreaction. So might be a similar story here. This thing is just absolutely cranking right now. Be very careful if you get in, but if we do get confirmation and it keeps holding strength, I mean, this should be a decent momentum play for the day. So make sure you're hitting the thing, make sure you're doing this stuff, and make sure you're joining the Discord, man. I mean, we have daily morning briefings where I tell you what's going on in futures, what's going on with, all the plays, earnings, FDAs, whatnot. Why is it moving, pre-market movers. Lots of channels, EV, SPACs, crypto, this, that, the third. We have subscriptions that we share like Benzinga Pro, so you can get access to that. So come on down, man. We'd love to have you. Anyways, traders, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by, and I will catch you in the next one.